Hi, welcome to What the Flick. Only watch this review if you have seen Captain America Civil War. Otherwise, you're going to be really mad at us.
We're going to spoil the whole thing, including the Darth Vader cameo.
Spoiler alert. Ding, 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 ding. Spoiler alert. Down there. Okay, so what was the biggest...
Spider-Man!
Hey, everyone.
Spider-Man's amazing.
It's not a spoiler.
I know,
but
Let's talk about
I didn't want to,
That was so fun.
Matt Singer made the case, and I think he is right, that this may be the best Spider-Man the movies have given us yet.
Okay.
And I think it's certainly truest to the original kind of, Stan Lee, Steve Ditko conception of a high schooler.
Right.
Because, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, for all the very fine things they brought to the role, were a little long in the tooth.
Right.
They were a little 90210 for those.
And there's a long-running version of Spider-Man who is a grown-up and he's running a company, or he's, he goes from, currently he's now running his own version of Stark Industries. But there's a while that he is a professional photographer and he's working at the Bugle, and he's in his early 20s, but the original Spider-Man is that teen version, right?
And even the original Ultimate Spider-Man that a lot of, the kids grew up on.
Right.
He's very much a teenager.
And he plays, and what's great about this, the different characterization here is that, we've seen the quippy Spider-Man that Tobey Maguire does. We see kind of the angry, quippy Spider-Man that Andrew Garfield does. This is the one that's the motor mouth because he's so nervous.
Right.
And he's geeking out about the other heroes, and it's awesome.
It's infectious.
It's infectious,
it's so fun.
right? His, and this is one of the things that's great about the Marvel movies, kind of over across the board, is that, where people say jokey and fun, it's joy. There's a joy to the Marvel Cinematic Universe that doesn't exist in DC, and it makes those movies a slog. And this one is joyful. And as much as it can sell the dark moments, that joy of filmmaking is, and we talk about that a lot. You see that in a lot of the Coen brothers movies. It's infectious, right? Mm-hmm. Infectious is the perfect word. And Captain America, the Civil War is so good, and it's, kind of the avatar for that is the Spider-Man edition, because it's so much fun in something that is otherwise like, we got to tease our own Spider-Man coming up.
So is he then going to play Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Tom Holland? Okay, cool.
So there's an upcoming Spider-Man movie that
Sony will release, but Marvel will produce.
Marvel's producing. Kevin Feige is overseeing it, and we're going to see Tony Stark make an appearance too.
Oh, cool.
And the eyes move.
The eyes move,
which is essential.
So,
the eyes move, and they explain it. And they earn that the eyes move the way they do in the comics, which is a thing that, like, why does his eyes get?
This is why you need these guys here, because I didn't even notice that the eyes move. Okay, but I did love. Again, we talked about how self-referential these movies are, and this one is, and a lot of pop culture references always, especially from Tony Stark. But I love when Spidey is like going around giant Ant-Man with the web. He's like, "Hey guys, remember that old movie? First of all, The Empire Strikes Back on that ice planet?" Because he says the thing we're all thinking, that he brings down Ant-Man like they bring down the Ant-Ads on Hoth.
Right, and he says, "I saw this in an old movie." And
it's so funny.
And Tony Stark's like, "Old movie?"
Yeah.
Right?
Like, how old is this kid? But it's not as fourth wall breaking and like snarky smug as Deadpool, which I enjoy Deadpool, but it's saying the thing
There's
that we're all thinking.
There's a moment of that though, right? Yeah. During that same fight scene where Spider-Man complains about Cap's shield. He's like, that shield does not, he says, that shield doesn't obey the laws of physics.
Yes.
Right?
That's true.
And Captain America's like, there's a lot of things you don't understand here, kid.
Right. It teeters on the brink of
right on the edge.
Yeah.
I had to say, even though I didn't know anything about it, I figured out about 30 seconds before it happened that it was going to happen, but I still was delighted when Ant-Man becomes Giant Man. That was just one of those ones like, oh my God, they're going to do that.
Is that what his name is when he's big? He's Giant Man?
Giant Man, or Goliath, or...
Yeah,
it depends.
Umpteen versions of it.
Also, it's nice to see Paul Rudd. Like, I liked Ant-Man because it is lighter than most of these movies, and so it's nice to see him, a little bit of him.
Paul Rudd is more charming in his few scenes here as Ant-Man than he is in all of Ant-Man. The Ant-Man movie.
You don't like Ant-Man?
The Ant-Man movie misuses him, or at least doesn't. The Ant-Man movie did to Paul Rudd what Jurassic World did to Chris Pratt.
It made him
which
lame.
was like tamp him down, make him really lame-o. And this movie, he's Paul Rudd, and and it was fun to watch, and it worked.
So, were you guys shocked by the big twist as far as Tony Stark's parents?
I was not so much shocked because when you see it's that Cadillac early on and like, oh, that's going to be somebody important.
Yeah, that whole
Chekhov's Cadillac.
yeah, exactly. That flashback at the beginning is a big like this is going to matter later. As we all know, nothing is wasted in these movies. So I wasn't. I mean, I didn't totally see it coming, but once it was real, I was like, oh well, because that's then why we saw the thing with the.
When we get to the scene, because yes, that battle scene at the airport is great, right? Like that's a really.
Oh my God, the stuff with the motorcycle in the tunnel.
Yeah.
Wait, are you talking about that?
No, I'm talking about
on the airfield.
Big, like,
the big
showdown.
Yeah, that's the big fight scene, and it's great. But then we get another scene,
but
like.
Well, no, I was going to say the problem with the big fight scene in the middle is amazing, but the thing is that it's in the middle. And so when it's over, I kept thinking, oh, okay, so we're like, it's almost over, right? And then like 4 or 5 scenes later, oh, okay, so we still have another act to go. Okay, that was part of my problem with this movie was the pacing.
Right, it's got a 4th act, and it's tough when you have a 4th act in the movie. I get that. But there's so much good, and the thing is that 4th act is great, right? In fact, I would say that 4th act is better than the 4th act in The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, stuff in Siberia?
I'm sorry, The Dark Knight. I mean The Dark Knight, like all the stuff, all the two.
Really?
I think it might.
You sure you want to go there?
I'm sure I do want to go there.
Address all letters to Matt Atchity.
And I'll tell you why. Because look, like in The Dark Knight, when you get the whole thing, where you get the whole bit with Two-Face, like that's interesting, but it's not. It didn't hit me as hard as this did, where when Tony finds out that it's Bucky that kills his parents, right? Like I had that moment as I'm watching the movie. I was like, oh no, like Tony's just now finding this out. This is going to go bad. And then when he turns to Steve and he's like, how did you know? And Steve's like, yeah, I knew. And like, that's devastating because you can see these guys were friends and it's ruined their friendship. And as much as we see the lines in the trailer that are like, he's my best friend. Oh, I thought I was your friend. Like that takes on real impact in this movie. And it's really, it's not so much heavy. It's just, it's emotionally moving in a way that you kind of don't expect out of a Marvel action movie.
I was going to say, it gives a deeper emotional underpinning to this division that's occurred beyond just the intellectual debate over whether to be an Avenger
and it's not just neatly wrapped up. That's the thing. Like, Daniel Bruhl is this interesting villain in this.
And his convoluted plot makes tons more sense than Lex Luthor's convoluted plot in BVS.
Right, that's the thing. And he, his whole plot is like, I'm going to fuck with these guys. Like, I'm going to make them hate each other.
Tear themselves apart.
I'm going to make them tear themselves apart. And he does. And this is that rare villain that, like, he gets away with what he wants to do. And the movie ends on this really bittersweet note where, like, the Avengers are broken.
Yeah.
Right? And that's real. I mean, this is, you could almost say this is maybe the Empire Strikes Back of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Maybe.
Because it leaves you on that melancholy note.
Yeah, kind of.
There's that one shot that's so beautiful toward the end where they're in Siberia and it's just Bucky and Cap and Iron Man. And it's like, there are these giant concrete pillars.
Right.
And you can see the snow behind them. You can see them silhouetted against it. And they're all like exhausted and in a state of like disrepair. Anyway, I found it really striking. I mean, in a movie that is really fun, there's also some gorgeous and dark visuals.
I'm super interested to see what Ryan Coogler and Chadwick Boseman do with Black Panther.
Fun.
Yeah.
I love Chadwick Boseman always. He's so versatile.
Yeah, I had heard some early reports that he didn't nail the accent, but I think he does.
I was fine with the accent. And he just got that amazing presence about him. He's so charismatic. Yeah, I mean, is it overstuffed? Yeah. Is it too much to deal with and too much of keeping your brain at once?
Yeah,
sure.
Don't have a soda. Like, we should have said this in the other review. Don't have anything to drink before you go into this movie.
Don't have an entire box of Sour Patch Kids.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do that either. I'm not saying I did.
I mean, that's good advice for life, right?
In general,
Don't have a whole box of Sour Patch Kids at once.
Anything else we are not touching on, spoiler-wise, we want to get to?
I don't. Maybe we cast Aunt May a little young.
Well, but if you've got a younger Peter Parker,
You're hot, young, and
I don't mind that. I like the.
It just bothers me that Marissa Tomei is supposed to be an old lady. Like,
well, I don't think, but she's not though.
To a teenager.
And speaking of young people, the flashback version of Robert Downey Jr., where they make him look like Robert Downey Jr. in Less Than Zero, I thought was kind of hilarious. And then another critic pointed out that, remember that was the movie where he got pimped out by Ultron.
Oh, yes, that's true. It all comes full circle. All right, so we also did a review which was spoiler-free. Go visit that too, but we should maybe redo numbers just to remind you. I said 8.3.
7.1.
9.5.
All right, it's pretty great. Go enjoy it.